everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Oh my goodness, I feel like there's so much going on, and every time I think that I start to get a little bit of a handle on it, Stampin' Up! Throws some more stuff at us. So let me kind of just start. If you're not on my email list, then that will be, today's email is going to be a little bit longer than I intended because like I said, they've thrown a couple of new things at us. Not new. One, let me do this first, because I know that some of you are waiting on this. The Natural Tones blends are finally back in stock. It's been a long minute. So I had this class. I will open it back up. It will be on my class page. And for those of you that had already, I don't even remember all the details. It's a free class. There is a free class option if you bought the blends, the set of natural blends. I have some videos. I will put a little block in my next email. So those of you that had, because some of you, I can't remember how I did it, but I know that some of you were waiting on them. I'm going to Zoom with you. And so now I can get that Zoom up there because I wanted you to have time to kind of play with them. So you'd have questions. If you had questions, you could ask. So that I will open back up. It will be found on my class page. So the same place where you're going to find the information about today's class, we'll have that on there. I've never taken it all the way down. I did deactivate the link. So I'll reactivate the link so you can sign back up for it. I'm not going to leave it up for long because the girls that did get theirs before they sold out have been waiting a very long time for that class to take place. So they already had the stuff that they could be working with them at home, but I do want to put the Zoom thing on the calendar, and it won't be until probably early June after my family's back from vacation. So mid-June, because we'll be on vacation the first bit of June. So when I get back from vacation, that will give those of you who need to get them time to order them and then play with them and then have questions that we'll get together in Zoom. And there'll be a couple of date options that you'll be able to do. So those are back. Then this catalog starts May 3rd. So next week, if you're watching this the day that it posts. So all of next week will be new catalog stuff. So I already had that, right? And then I had my Try It class, which has, I think, around 5 packets left. So the video class will be available. There'll still be videos that you can get if you want to do the video only. So we knew all that. That was right? And you all know, I've mentioned it. I don't mention it in every video, but I mention it in a few, that if you are a member of my team, that my team members via my Facebook page, every time I post an online class, then fairly soon after, not right away, but fairly soon after, I go over there and I post the videos. So they get my video access to all of my online classes, my clubs, my VIP videos. They see it all absolutely free. It's a perk of being on my team. But with my Try It classes, that's the one time that I actually give them the supplies at no charge. So I send them to them and then we Zoom together and we put them together. When you're brand new, you don't even have to do the Zoom. You get your first 3 packets absolutely free. I just send them to you because I know you're excited. So the first 3 catalogs while you're on my team, you don't even have to show up to the Zoom. I just send them to you. So that is happening. I have counted all the new team members. They're getting those, and we have a nice large group that will gather. I have girls from all across the country as part of my team. Well, yesterday Stampin' Up! Told us that there's a starter kit special, which will sweeten the pot for those of you that are thinking about signing up. So if you sign up, not only would you get $125 of whatever you pick out of this new catalog for just $99, with no shipping charge. All you pay is tax, and you pick $125 and you get $99. You just pay $99 in tax for whatever your state is. And then you get all of my perks normally that I offer, which I do have a page. So again, in my email list, but then they are throwing in a ton of new in color stuff. So I know you get all of the stamp pads, all of the new in color stamp pads free, not part of the stuff, so you don't even have to pick them. There's new in color paper and there's something else. It's about $70, $75. My dad had pacemaker surgery yesterday, so I was at the hospital. I have a headache today because, you know, wearing a mask for all those hours when you're not used to it, and just the general stress, and getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're not used to it, just all of it was just not. And I did get some work done, but I had to hold my laptop because there wasn't a desk to put my laptop on. And so by the end of the day, I was done. And I knew I had to answer emails. So I came home and did that. And then that was when I saw the special. And so I read it, but I don't remember it, but it will be in my email. So if you're not on my email list, hop over to there. And when you're on my website, it pops up and you can just join my email list from there. So there's all of that. Then today's card, we'll back up to what I thought was going to be really the subject of my email today, because my try it class, it will fill by the end of this weekend. It will be filled, and in fact, a couple of the packets more than I had intended to reserve. I may even close it a bit earlier because I know that more of you will take advantage of that sign up special than I would have in a normal month. So those may end up, I may close my try it class tomorrow, which would be Saturday. So this was going to be the subject of my email. So this is my online class that I have opened for registration. I opened it a couple of days ago, but I haven't done a video for it because I've been so busy, and I had pre-done all of the camp cards. And there's one more of those that we'll post over the weekend. It's ready to go. It's what I did in the hospital. I got it all up and ready, so it will auto post while I'm busy relaxing and enjoying my weekend while we have a baby shower. And it's so fun if you're in my card club. I don't remember what the stamp set was called. It was in the holiday catalog last year, the one that, or maybe it was in the catalog. Maybe it's retiring, the one that had the moon. It was one of our card club things. All of her nursery stuff is that design because Stampin' Up's just on trend. So I'm gonna make her baby shower card this afternoon with that. It's funny because it's a couple's shower. And you know, if you're our age, men did not go to showers. And so my husband is fighting me tooth and nail. And he loves the couple, like they're our daughter's age, and we have literally grown up. They could be our son and daughter, but he does not want to go. He's like, why do I have to go to a baby shower? You know, it's just not something his generation of guys did. So he doesn't want to go. But I'm going to make their card this afternoon. I'm going to pull that stamp set back out of the retired stuff that I did. But it's super cute to see that exact pattern on all of her nursery things. So my first class, online class, is using the Happiness Abounds suite. There are 3 ways that you can participate. You can get the full kit, and that includes all of the supplies that you need to make the 4 projects. So I will send you the cardstock, whatever designer series paper you need, whatever die cuts that you need that aren't part of the bundle, any ribbons, any stuff that's been run through a folder, embossing folder, all of that. We'll do 4 projects. You'll get the videos. There is no PDF for this class. And then if you do that one where you get the stamps and the dies, you will get these glossy dots free. So those will be free. They'll be a perk. Then there's a middle option where you just get the projects for the 4 cards. You do need the stamps and the dies, but if you're a demonstrator, because I know lots of demonstrators take my classes, you will also get this full packet because these are the embellishments that we will use on all 4 cards. So you can do that option, but you do need the stamps and the dies. If there's die cuts that are not in this bundle, then I will do those for you because we may use tags or something else to mount things on. And there isn't a folder in this one, so anything that is with an embossing folder, I will do for you. Actually, my husband does those for you. And then there is an option where you just get the videos. Again, no PDF in this class, so don't later on say, I didn't get the PDF. Those mostly just come with my retreats in the Try It class. So there's that. Is this one, I had that catalog ready to open to show you the page, and then I almost would have gotten in trouble because can't show you yet. If I posted the video on the 3rd, I could show you the inside, but we have very strict rules about showing the inside of the catalog. So here is the stamp set, and it has dies that cut out all of these images. They also cut out a lot of the images in the paper. I don't have the paper all laying here because I have started creating projects for my Try It class. So my paper is in a hot mess right now until I can order all of the paper. Then it also has this fun die, and then it also has these 2 dies that do notebook cuts along the side, which is funny because when I posted my first video, which is this one, some people told me that they would have liked it better if I had cut off the edge where I ripped it out of my notebook. If you don't like that, you don't have to use them. But this is to make it look like it came from a notebook. So you can go see this one. This one, I think I did show all of the paper because that was before I had started working on my Try It class and my paper was still in full packets. As demonstrators, we can pre-order, but we can only get minimal supplies of stuff before the catalogs go live. And so as I start working on classes and I start cutting it all up, then I no longer have full packets. But this one is up. So here are the stamps and the dies. I'm not going to use these on this card. but I am going to use this one. And then I wanted to show you this one because while this does not use the stamps, it does use the paper. So this is that paper. And when you see the front of the catalog, you might not ever think, I'm going to take that floral paper and I'm going to pair it with a cartoon bird, but it works really well. Like, it really is what makes this card. Well, the bird does too. Super cute. I'm trying to figure out a way to put this little bird dot punch in my Try It class because you don't have to use the stamps. You can punch it with just paper. She wouldn't have eyeballs though. So I'm trying to decide if I can do it without eyeballs. So for this card, I'm going to use this piece of paper here. All of the paper in this thing is just gorgeous, but it ombres and it rainbows and it goes through, like you can see here, it's all beautiful, but to show as much as you can on a piece of paper, it's really hard. And so if you go back and watch this video, you can see how I kind of cut it up so I can get I could get as many colors as I could. This is the piece that has the tiny little flowers on the back. So go watch that and you can kind of see how you can get more of that mixed. So in this one, I'm going to use this beautiful blue paper here. It has a feel kind of Rifle Paper Company to me, and I like their KEDs. I don't buy other people's paper, but I do like their KEDs. I like their calendars. So when we don't make it, then I feel like I can justify it. So for this, when I saw the paper and I was like, how am I going to get all those colors? I decided I would do a Slimline card. And for a long time, I didn't do those because we didn't have envelopes, but now we have envelopes. So if you've not noticed those, they are in the January to June mini catalog, the Slimline envelopes, but they're also in they'll be in the next catalog, the annual catalog. They did carry over. So they come just like this, pop them in this way. So I'll use the white one on my sample. I have the gray, like the smoky slate, because you can see this card has lots of smoky slate. And then this little design here just happens to match this little design here. So it's perfect for these. But don't worry, if this doesn't match your card, it's just gonna be on the inside. And you know, I'm sorry to say that lots of people rip this and don't even see it. So don't worry about it if it doesn't match perfectly. And then there's also a succulent color. So when you do a Slimline card, it is 8.5 by 7. So you'll wanna score it at 3.5. Make sure you don't cut it, because then you'd have to just get another piece of paper. You cut it to the right size, so you have this. Now in my class, if you're interested in the online class, it's not going to stay open for registration very long because it will go out the end of May, like the very end of May. Like I said, we go on vacation the beginning of June, so I want it out before we go on vacation. But I also have to get my Try It class out and my club out. So I didn't do a whole lot in April because we were busy. Also going to be busy in May, but I wanted to get this online class. And I also don't want there to be time for this stuff to sell out. So if stuff would go on back order, then I would close the class. I would reopen it later when it's back in, but that could be a couple of months. So if you want it, I recommend that you sign up right away. And then those people, I will order their stuff. Anybody who has signed up before the catalog goes live, I will order it the first day that we're able to order it. So you can see how this is. Now I'm gonna just do some stamping, and I'm going to use blends, which is how I will color in the online class. But you can use whatever your favorite coloring thing is. I have told you the colors that you will need. But like on this one, like I think that these look like they are Gorgeous Grape, but I think that is not a color listed in the suite. But you could use Gorgeous Grape. I think it's probably Freesia. Sometimes, you know, when they put that iridescent color on, it kind of switches the color. This kind of looks like Petal Pink. This is the Mambo, and it has Daffodil, it has Pool Party, the Navy, the Green Apple. So you can see the obvious colors, but as you look at the scope of the paper, like here, this is more the Daffodil, and then this goes towards the Saffron. This is obviously the Greeny Apple, but as it lightens up, it could be the new green that we have that you could get free. Because you get all of the inks. I can't remember. You could add the blends because, you know, when you pick your $125 of free stuff, you could get the blends. I have dimensional backs everywhere. So I'm going to stamp 2, just using Memento, and this is just plain white, basic white cardstock. So let's do that rose. And then let's do this rose. And I'm just far enough apart that I will be able to cut them out with the dies. And then I'm going to do the leaves 3 times. You're going to get a tiny bit of a blends tutorial, which will remind me again to tell you that those Naturals blends are finally back in stock. They have not, there's been a couple of the colors that were in stock. I'm going to take this Happy Birthday, and you can see I wanted kind of a graduation of colors, but it didn't really make so much of a difference because I cut them apart. So on this one, I'm going to see if it fits. If it fits here, it does. So instead of wasting more paper into that, I'm just going to do that way. It's still going to have a little bit of graduation of colors, but I didn't end up putting them next to each other on my card, so it didn't matter. So I'm just going to hand trim those apart. And then let's color this. Now it has been a little bit rainy here today, so I like for this to take a second to not be all the way just stamped when I color. So let's start with Garden Green, or Granny Apple Green, sorry. I'm gonna use this for my inspiration of colors. Oh, you know what? We'll give this a second longer because I forgot to stamp my envelope. So it doesn't matter which flower. I'm just gonna take one flower. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to do this because now I just have to take everything and open it back up and stamp it again. So I'm just gonna do one flower here. And then let's do one leaf here. I don't want the whole thing. It's an envelope, so you just want a little hint of stuff. I love this scalloped edge on the envelope. I'm gonna go first with my Happy Birthday. Here. And I'm going to add this here. And then that gave our stuff a tiny bit longer time to dry. I remember when I did mine, I thought, oh, that will help give this a little bit longer time to dry, but it only works if you remember to do it. So now back to this. We're going to use this for inspiration of color. I'm going to put this here so I remember to color it as well. So you can see these are the Granny Apple. They have a little bit of kind of the darker, maybe navy. I thought about playing around with that, but then I didn't go back and do it. So I liked them kind of bright. So I'm gonna swish this dark. I'm gonna do one of these and then I'll go back and you don't have to watch me do all 3. So I got the swish of the dark and I'm using bullet tips. I'm a big fan of just the bullet tip. I think you get a little bit more control of how much color you get. Now on the envelope, I'm going to use the brush tip because we don't want it to soak through the envelope, and that's a much lighter paper. So you can see on these, there's not a whole lot of white space. On some of them, there's hardly any white space at all. So not leaving much of a white space on these. And then we're going to go back and hit it one more time to kind of get it to be dark. See how those are really dark right there? And they don't have to all be like this. I'm just going to do it on this big flower. I mean, leaf. And then I'll color these other 3 in a second. And you don't have to watch it. So we've got that. So you can get that pretty dark. I could hit it one more time. This is why I like the bullet tip. I'm not putting it too close to the edge because I don't want it to bleed out, because with the blends, the ink has to go somewhere. And if you put it close to the edge, it's gonna go right on outside the edge. So there, that looks great. Now let's go with Daffodil. So you can see, like this one's, again, this is more of a dark one. This is more of a light one. This is almost saffron. And this is more, so you have a range of yellows you can work with. These have a lot of white. This has hardly any white. This has white mixed in. So you can kind of do whatever you want to do. And a lot of it's going to get, not a lot, but some's going to get covered up when we put our design on it. So I'm going to start with the dark. And I'm just going to go ahead and, the Daffodil is not the darkest color that we have. Okay, so I'm going to do most of this dark. Plus, I'm going to play with my color lifter. And I think it's easier to lift the dark colors than it is to lift the light colors. But I am going to leave some room in here to add the light Daffodil. I'll leave the lid off. And then just fill in some of these with the light. And then that's all the light because I want that to stay noticeably different than this. But now when you hit this, see how this is? And kind of try to mimic that. So if you think you don't know how to color with these and like, I don't know where to put the shading, use something like this where it has the paper and you can just copy, because this is kind of showing you some light and some darks. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it gives you kind of an idea, a basis of where you might want to at least start with. And then once you start, next thing you know, you're like, I'm not even looking at it anymore. And that's how you learn. So that looks good. And now we're gonna do, I don't know why I laid these over here and I mixed them all up. So let's start with our dark melon and then our light. And this one, I'm gonna try to go for this. See how there's whole dark petals and whole light petals. So let's do that. So let's do this one whole dark. And I'm gonna do that and then I'll fast forward that bit. Here are these, and I'm gonna go do my envelope, and then we're gonna come back and kind of make these look a little bit more like those with our color lifter. But first, while I've got these and while I remember, so I'm gonna take my light ones and I'm gonna use the brush tip, because these you have to like brush. Just gonna give them a hint of color, and you don't wanna put too much, otherwise it will soak through. And you don't want it to soak through, you want it to look like that. You have a little bit more, you can put a little bit more down here because it's got to go through 2 layers of envelope before you would see it on the other side. And then for this one, you can use those 2 colors if you want, but I'm going to hit it with the Pool Party just because we haven't used it. And again, I'm just going to use the brush tip. I'm just going to kind of add some swishes of color. I'm not going to, again, if you put too much, it'll soak through. So that's just some hints of color on that. Really pretty little envelope there. Now I'm going to take these, and you can see this looks nothing like that yet, but our color lifter will help make it look a little bit like, and they don't have to be exact. These are going to be the focal point. This is our background paper. This is the focal point. So again, I'm going to use my brush tip, my bullet tip, sorry. And I'm just going to kind of color here in the middle. And it will lift that color out of this one. And it changes the color. Take it out of here. It doesn't remove it all the way, and you don't want it to be gone. Like if you've made a mistake and you want to lift your color out, you can do that. These, I just want to leave color there because there's a lot of color. You would not make a mistake with that much color. And I'm trying to stay on each petal of the flower so it kind of lifts within there. And you can see once it starts like absorbing into there, see how it's disappearing? My blend is, I mean, my color lifter and my blends, when they squeak, they are not almost gone. It's because I push really hard. And all of the people that come to my live events that are my customers, they do the same because they have learned from me. Sometimes people in my videos tell me it's because they're almost out of ink. They are not. This is brand new. It's just the way that I use them. Because I would rather push hard and be done than push soft. And it doesn't, this has been used probably twice at my in-person event, maybe once. So, I mean, a few people have used it. It's not like brand new out of the package. But you can tell by me pushing hard, it's not damaging it. Now, if you did it to your brush tip, it would. You don't want your brush tip to squeak. Just kind of lift some of that back out. As you can see, those are pretty light. But on this one, I am going to leave a couple of those dark. On the pink, I took most of it back out. You can see why you always want to work with scrap paper, and that's what would happen to our envelope if we cut too much out of it. So I have this little piece of blue. Let's trim these things out with our cut and emboss even, then it goes through. And my husband just painted my table not too terribly long ago. So first I will do these, and I'll show you, they cut, you know, some of our dies, it takes a minute you have to kind of like swirl them and figure out where they're gonna go. These are so super simple. Like it's so obvious. That goes there. And I'll do one leaf, and then I'll cut those, and then I'll do this in one leaf, and then just a leaf. So I'll cut all of these out, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the lattice. So here's this little lattice thing. I have found the best way to run it through is to go back and forth about 3 times. Now with it, if you're gonna do 3 times, you wanna hold it, make sure it doesn't move, because if it pops, then once it pops out of place, so hold it, then you're done. Because if it moves and you try it again, then it's gonna cut in different spots, and then it's just gonna be a hot mess. So I've done 1, and this is Night of Navy, now 2. So just hold your plates, and then 3. Now also with this one, it does not cut. Some of the little leaves are attached. So don't try to poke them out because they're attached, and they just give that little bit of a 3D lift. So you can see when you do it this way, almost everything falls out that it's meant to. But then all these little ones like this, they are not meant to fall out because they're just the ones that kind of have a 3D effect and they just pop up. But everything that was, these hearts are meant to, but then you'll see that they don't cut. You probably can't see it here. When you own the die, you'll be able to see it. So all those little ones stay in. So if running it through 1, 2, 3, I have found all of them. Just put it in the center and you're good. So I'm gonna clean this up and move everything back to the middle. Okay, so here's all our pieces. Now for this, I don't want it to look all square. I want it to look a little bit more organic. So I'm just gonna take this and just tear. You wanna tear pulling up, and that'll give you the fluffy side of the paper towards you. So just pull it towards you. Just like that. And then for the ribbon, now in my Try It class, there isn't a ribbon that goes with this suite. And I'm just gonna give you a ribbon for each of the 4 cards. That way we can have 4 different ribbons. Now this is the new, it's the Starry Sky. So again, an in color of the new ribbon you would get. The ink itself is not Night of Navy. You can see it's a bit brighter, but with this, it looks really good with this because it has that little bit of sparkle. It's a brighter color than navy, but that little bit of brighter just makes it really pop with this navy card. So I'm gonna use that. Now this isn't one of the projects that we will do, because when you do my online classes, well, you got to see one of the Try It class projects. You always get to see one of my club projects, and then the other 2, and then you see an alternate club projects. But for the most part, my online classes, if you want to see the projects, you got to do the class. I'm just going to tie a bow. I love this ribbon. It is a thinner version for those of you that love the copper ribbon that we had that was similar to this, because you can like separate it and it frays really nice and it ties in a bow really nice. I'm just going to have that bow there, and then I'm just going to take this here and see how it frays. It kind of gets a little bit of webbing to it. It's wispy, just like that. And then to mount this on here, I want that to have, well, let's go ahead and put this on here because I did the same thing. And look, that's just so pretty back there too. This is one of those papers, I call these the other side. This is one where the other side is just as pretty as the real side. But last time I put this all together, and then I had to put the adhesive on and try to stick it down with all my dimensionals. And I buried those dimensionals with I'll just use black ones. Oh, no, here, they're stuck. So here, if you look, there's enough places where we can put this, because when you pop it up, then the holes kind of show a little bit better. It really accents those. So there's 3 large places, which is plenty. Add some more of these backs. I feel like I clean up all the time, and no matter how many times you clean up, those little guys are everywhere. And you find them in the most obscure places, like when you're at a wedding or something, and you look down and there's one stuck to your hose. They're just everywhere all the time. Now we just need to stick these on, and you can kind of put them wherever. Oh, I did these. I'm looking at the card I did before. I colored them opposite of what I did the first time. So this one I did Mambo. It doesn't matter. And this one. So put your flowers on first, because always start with your largest things and then go down. You can see I've already cut these apart. That's why it didn't matter that one was pink and one was yellow and one was green on my first time, because they're gonna get separated here. Let's stick this one up here. I'm trying to leave as much of the die cut open as I can, because it's really pretty. And now our 3 leaves. One there. One there. And one there. And then your glossy dots. Like I said, if you do either of the 2 mailed versions, you get a full packet of these. If you get the bundle version, then they're free. I'm gonna do 5 just because they're fabulous, and really to see them with all this going on, to really notice like, oh, there's some really beautiful dots, it helps to have 5 of them. So we're gonna do 2 of the pool party because the flowers are the other 2 colors. And then let's grab one of the Mambo. One of the yellows. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 1 more. On this one, I always tell you to do not do even numbers, but on this, there's so many flowers back there, nobody's really gonna notice, but we'll do 1 more yellow. I'm gonna do 1 more pink. I'm gonna do a big one, that way we'll see it. I'm gonna put it right up here. So if you're interested in joining my online class, I will put the links down underneath this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, there will be a post somewhere down there that has it. On my website, there's a class link on the post. So there's those. Here is the matching envelope in the white. And then I said I would show you the matching envelope. This one is colored in Pool Party, but as it's dried, it's really kind of disappeared. It needs a different color. But look, there is enough of the shadows in this slate that the slate envelope works fine. So super cute. So everybody have a great day. Make sure, I would love to have you be part of my team. We have so much fun. If you have any questions at all about joining Stampin' Up, I've been in it since 1995. So I have a little bit of experience, coming up on 30 years. My daughter's gonna be 28 this summer. She was a baby when I joined. So getting there. Obviously I love it, and I have done it where I have worked full-time. I've done it with babies. I've done it as an empty nester. I've done it when, now I'm doing it again full-time. I did it full-time when I first started. So I've done the gamut. So I can help you anyway. I did it before the internet existed. So obviously I've done it not online. So if you have any questions, I love it. You can do it just for the discount. You can do it if you want to try to make some extra money. You can do it as a hybrid, however you want. I'd be happy to help you, but I'd love to have you be part of us. We have a ton of fun. Everybody have a great day, and I will catch you here next week for new catalog kickoff. Bye.